Hi, I'm Bowen Long, and on this episode of The Other Inconvenient Truth, we'll sit down with Helft, a first-hand air polluter. We'll discuss what air pollution is, its effects on the environment, and what we can do to solve it. Here we go. So Graham, thank you for being with us today. So what exactly is air pollution?
Air pollution is when it refers to like contamination when things like smoke, gas, or dust, or any other harmful toxins enter the air and contaminate it.
Graham, how often would you say you pollute?
I would have to say that I pollute kind of a lot.
Well, why do you continue to do so, even though you know you're harming the environment?
Well, we as a human species have kind of become really, really dependent on electricity. I mean, it basically controls all aspects of our lives. It supports our very civilization in the U.S. And
Certainly fossil fuels.
Yeah. Fossil fuels like petroleum and coal are major contributors to global warming and air pollution. And it's going to be really, really hard to wean us off of. I actually prepared a little ditty for you all today. I hope you like it. Everybody pollutes. It's called the greenhouse effect. From burning fossil fuels to using household objects, mining operations and farming activities, harmful chemicals produced from factories and industries.
Wow, thanks for that song, Graham. I'd like to thank you for personally taking time out of your busy policing schedule to interview with us. Well, thank you. And that concludes our interview. We brought in Imperiale, an expert on air pollution, to tell us more about the causes and effects of this environmental hazard.
It's a disaster.
Now, what are some of the causes of air pollution?
Now, some of the examples of the causes are the burning of fossil fuels, and that is if you don't know what a fossil fuel is, those are the main source of energy that we depend on every single day, such as coal. Now, when we burn fossil fuels, we burn them to get energy, that usable energy. But when we burn them, toxic chemicals are released into the air that make it unsafe for us to breathe. That is one of the main factors of air pollution, and it's a big problem right now. Another prime example is exhaust from factories. You can see this in any factory. It's smoke coming out of the smokestacks. This is toxic to the air, and it is what the factories emit after they're done doing what they do. And it's not okay that they just put it into our air that we breathe because it's not safe for us. One of the most difficult problems that us as professionals face when we try to stop air pollution is what we're going to do about vehicles, because the gasoline that they emit is also harmful to the air, and it's making it unsafe for us to breathe. A prime example is in China. There are so many cars in China, and the air is so bad there. It's always foggy there, and the people there, they breathe unsafe air, and it's so hard to find a solution to, because almost all of the cars use gasoline. So what we have to do is we have to make them all battery cars, which not all of the car companies are willing to do that. But the chemicals and the gasoline that they emit when they're driving are harmful to the air, and eventually the USA is going to end up like China if we don't find something to do. Two other causes that play a big factor in air pollution are mining operations. This has a major effect because when miners try to dig for minerals and elements underground, the ways that they do emit harmful chemicals and toxins into the air. Another one is agricultural activities. These agricultural activities, they use ammonia such as herbicides and pesticides, and herbicides and pesticides have toxins and chemicals in them that when they're released into the environment hurt the air and cause pollution.
Nick, can you tell us a little more about some of the negative effects of air pollution?
Bowen, that's a great question. Fantastic. One of the main negative effects is heart and respiratory problems. If you don't know what respiratory problems are, they're problems that occur in your lungs and in your respiratory system, which is basically channeling airflow in and out of your body. This isn't 100% guaranteed, but in some cases, cancer has been a result of inhaling too much air pollution. Some other common effects are pneumonia and asthma. Pneumonia is an infection in your lungs. It's very life-threatening unless you do something right as it's diagnosed. And asthma, which is also a constant life-threatening anvil hanging over your head. Another negative effect is I just hate it so much. It's awful. I can't say it. I can't say it without throwing it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. The next one is acid rain. I don't want to talk about it. It's awful. But I'll do it for you. Acid rain, it's a mixture of the chemicals that are burned chemicals that are released when you burn fossil fuels. They mix with rain that's about to fall. The rain is released and mixes with the chemicals, causing acid rain. This can have a very negative effect on animals, plant life, crops, and even humans too. It's unsafe for people to be outside during that, and if it's harmful for animals and crops and plants. We depend on animals, crops, and plants every single day. And if acid rain continues, if we don't stop air pollution, that we're soon going to see a decrease, and that's a major problem. Now, another harmful effect, pollution has effect on wildlife, like this little creature right here. Since the air becomes polluted, it's dangerous to breathe. So animals, if there's a high concentration in one specific area, animals will have to migrate out of their habitats and into a new one. And that could throw off the balance in an ecosystem. So, they're going to leave, like he's doing right now. They have to leave their habitat and go find someplace else.
Well, Mr. Imperiale, it was a pleasure to have you here today to just tell us a little more about air pollution and its effects on the environment. So, thank you for joining us today.
For the first few minutes, I thought this was going to be a great experience. I thought this was a great show, but in reality, this is an awful show. Don't ask me back ever, please. You can send my check in the mail. All right. Peace out, home dog.
Professor has a sense of humor. He's hilarious.
Now, what are some of the roadblocks of stopping air pollution?
One of the main roadblocks in stopping air pollution is that industry and fossil fuel supporters are pressuring Congress and the EPA to not set standards for factory emissions. This means that these factories can emit as much harmful air pollution as they want into the environment. There are no limits or regulations into how much they can emit, so they can cause major effects into the environment and cause lots of bad things to happen.
3 examples of fossil fuels that we use every day in society are oil, natural gas, and coal. Because we use these fossil fuels for the majority of our energy, finding an alternate solution will be very hard to substitute for these fossil fuels.
Although it may seem hard to find alternate sources of energy, believe me, all you have to do is look, and we can get rid of fossil fuels for good. First of all you have to do is look up into the sky, and you'll see the sun. All we have to do is harness the rays of the sun, use it for energy, we can store it, we can use it whenever we need it. Another alternate source is wind. What we use electric windmills to harness the power of the wind. That's another alternate source of energy that does not pollute the air, and it's safe to use, and you can always renew it. The last one is water. Now, all we have to do is harness the all we have to do is harness the power of water, and harness the power of water, and we can use that for energy because the power of water is so great. All you have to do is you have to harness the power, and then you can just...
What can we do to stop unlimited air pollution?
Well, we can petition the government to set regulations on factories so they can't emit unlimited air pollution into our environment.
Wisely spoken. I agree 100%.
Me too.
Absolutely. You know,